Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 8th grade concept of slope and y-intercept. This is standard 8.2c in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 12 off the 2016 released STAAR test. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we need both the slope and the y-intercept of this graph. They've given us a pretty simple line here. It is non-proportional, does not go through the origin, and they give us 2 points. And so that's all we have. So we are going to use our slope-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b. And so this m is going to be our slope. And so remember, that is rise over run. So that's going to be the change in y over the change in x. And so really what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 of our y coordinates, which they've provided for us, subtract them. 2 of our x coordinates, subtract them, put them in the numerator and denominator respectively, and we will have our slope. We can, so that's one of the things we're looking for. We're looking for slope. Now the b is the y-intercept. And so what we're looking at is what happens when x is 0. So if x equals 0, what happens with y? Y equals, that's what we're looking for. Because if x is 0, that means we are going to be right here on this y-axis. That is why we call it the y-intercept. Because when x is 0, you're on that y-axis and you're crossing. We're looking for it to cross the line. And so we can do that pretty simply. We can do that visually. So look where this line right here crosses the y-axis. So that's why it's called the y-intercept, where the line intercepts the y-axis. And it looks like it's right there between -1 and -2. And so I'm thinking it's going to be that -1.5, right? So if I wanted to write my equation, I can say y equals mx, then I would go -1.5. That's that b right there. And it's a minus, so that's why we're going to do subtract. So all we have left to do is figure out the slope. And it looks like my 2 choices are -4 or -1/4. Either of them are going to be negative, because as you can tell, the slope is going down if you're looking at it from left to right. All right, so we need to find our x and y coordinates here. So I'm going to show you how it doesn't really matter which y coordinates you use first. So let's do it this way first. So I'm going to use this as my first coordinate. So I'm going to do -2. So right now I'm doing this. Minus 0, okay? And then I've got 2 minus, and this is going to be fairly common since we're using all 4 quadrants. You're going to get 2 minus -6, right? So the 2 negatives cancel each other out, right? So it turns into a positive. So really what you're looking for is -2 minus 0, that's just -2, over 2 plus 6, that's 8. So it looks like -1/4. It doesn't matter if you've got a negative in the numerator or the denominator. It makes the entire fraction negative. The only thing would be if you have a negative in both numerator and denominator. Those 2 will cancel each other out to make it positive. Okay, so that's -1/4. But what happens if we flip those around? We'll always have to do the y coordinate first, but look what I did right here. Right? So I can do 0, and I'm going to do -2, so I'm going to flip these. And then I'm going to do -6, and then I'm going to do -2. And this needs to be -2. There we go. All right, so 0 minus -2, -6 minus 2, all right? And so those 2 cancel each other out, so I've got 2 over -6 minus 2. So that's all that happened. The negative went from the numerator down to the denominator, still ends up with the same thing, -1/4. My answer here is H.